Hello friends, welcome to our new video on how to build program logic. In this video we are going to see how to find a GCD of any two numbers using the recursion approach. So what is that we are going to see in this particular video? First, of course, example to calculate GCD using recursion. Then how to build logic to find the GCD with recursion approach. Then logic or steps to find GCD. Then we are going to see the actual program to find GCD of any two numbers using recursion. And then we do a try run with this program with numbers 12 and 16 and focus on how the logic is getting built. Let's look at the example of finding GCD of any two numbers using recursion. Right, so we start with number 12 and 16. Right, so 16 minus 12 is 4, and we know that GCD has to be a factor of um, both the numbers 12 and 16 or any given numbers. And we also can say for sure that GCD cannot be greater than the difference of these two numbers, which is 4 in this case. Why so? Let's assume that any number greater than 4 could be GCD of these two numbers. Let's assume that number 5 is GCD, and because it's a GCD, it is a factor also, a factor of 12. We will assume so, although we know which is, this is not true. Okay, so based on our assumption, because 5 is a factor of 12, 5 can divide 12 completely, and if we add 5 to 12 we get 17, but this value is greater than 16 and therefore 5 won't be able to divide 16. So that is why 5 cannot be the GCD, and 5 therefore cannot be a factor of 12 also. So our assumption is wrong, and therefore what we can definitely say is that the GCD has to be either the difference or lesser than the difference of the any two given numbers. Right. Then, so the starting point of finding GCD for these two numbers is going to be 4. Now, we know that GCD has to be a common divisor and greatest among all such common divisor. And 4 does divide 12 and 16. And it is obviously going to be greatest because that is our starting point to find GCD. And therefore, we say that 4 is the GCD in this particular case, right? Let's look at one more example of numbers 17 and 13, and let's try to find GCD of these two numbers. We know the difference between these two is 4, and this difference also can be identified using the modulus operator. 17 percentile 13 gives us 4, right? So again, GCD cannot be greater than 4. So 4 will be the starting point of finding GCD. Now, for any number to be GCD of 17 and 13, also has to divide the difference of 4 between 17 and 13. Because if it can divide, so it can then divide 13 as well as 17, right? And therefore, only such number can be GCD of 17 and 13, right? Now, the thing is that if any number to be GCD of 17 and 13 also has to be GCD of 13 and 4, which is the difference between 17 and 13. Now, why so? Let's think on this. If the number can divide 4, then it can also divide 13 and 17, right? So the number should be able to divide 4. And if it can divide 4 and if it can divide 13, then it will also be GCD of 13 and 4. Without dividing the difference, it cannot divide both 17 and 13. It also has to divide the difference, right? So if this is the case, then we to find GCD of 17 and 13, we have to first find the GCD of 13 and 4, right? And then according to our previous statements, for finding GCD of 13 and 4, we simply can do this 13 percentile 4. This is from our statement number 1 and 2, okay, what we did earlier, right? And the percentile result is going to be 1, and so GCD of 13 and 4 is going to be 1, which is true. Okay. 13 is one of the prime numbers, and therefore it's not going to have anything common with any other number, and therefore the GCD is going to be 1. And because so, GCD of 17 and 13 also going to be 1. Let's take one more example to cement our understanding of this particular concept. Let's take this to number 149 and 97, right? And we use the formula which we applied earlier for 149% and 97 to identify the difference between these two, and the result is 52, right? And so here also GCD cannot be greater than 52, and to find the GCD of 149 and 97 we have to find GCD of 19, 7 and 52. This is what we are concluding from what we have seen in the previous examples, right? And so we do this. We do 97% and 52 to find a difference between these two numbers, because the difference between these two numbers is the starting point of the GCD calculation for 97 and 52. And we do this again with 52 and 45. The result of modulus operation is going to be 7, and then 45 modulus 7, which is going to give us 3, 7 modulus 3, which is going to give us 1, and 1 is going to be GCD of 7 and 3, and therefore of 45 and 7, and also therefore of 52 and 45, and so of 97 and 52, and therefore also of 149 and 97. Now why this is true? Because 149 and 97 both are prime numbers, and there is nothing going to be common between these two numbers, and therefore the GCD is going to be 1. Right. So now let's look at the logic building of this GCD program using recursion. Right. So first thing we need to identify is to identify simple steps which we can do. Right. Okay. And these steps have to be repeated again and again. So doing a modulus operation, which we did again and again, is a simple operation, and we did it again and again. So it's a repetitive step, right? And second thing which we need to do is that we have to identify an operation which reduces the complexity of values. Okay. So what we did was we did a modulus operation, and after doing the modulus operation, the first number was given the value of the second number. So the first number was assigned value of second number, and the second number was assigned a value of result of the modulus operation, and with these two new assignments the modulus operation was again performed, right? So modulus operation along with reassigning the values reduces the complexity of values. Okay, every time the value got reduced with the modulation operation. Right. So what are going to be the steps for logic for this particular program? First, of course, we exchange the values of first number with second number, and second number with the result of the modulus operation. Okay, so we do the reassignment, and we keep on doing this till the base condition is made. Okay, and what is going to be a base condition? The condition is going to be the second number equal to 0. Till the second number is not equal to 0, we keep on repeating it, and once it becomes 0, we stop the call. And we return the value of first number in this case, and also when the base condition is not met. Right? Let's look at the program. We start with the main function, hash include statements, main function bracket open bracket close, then declare two variable first and second to store the values of the two numbers, then a reggcd function with two parameters both of type int to do the calculation of GCD using recursion, then the printf statement to prompt the user to enter the values, then a scanf statement to accept the values, then the printf statement with the call to the reggcd function and with arguments as first and second. Then a get ch and a return 0 statement, and our main function ends. Let's look at a recursive GCD function. So we have this GCD function with two parameters, first and second, both of type int, then bracket open bracket close. Then what we do, we make the call to the recgcd function to implement the first step. See, we have to do the repetition of reassigning the values of first with second and second with the modus operation, and we do so with the call itself. Okay, so what we do is that in the next call to recgcd function, we pass the first argument as second and the second argument as first percentile second. What will this do? This will assign the value of second to the first parameter in the next call, right? Similarly, it will assign the value of first percentile second to the parameter second in the next call. Okay, so here in this case, we are reassigning value of second to first and first percent second to second, and we also are repeating the operation by making the call again to the same function. And we do this till what? Till our base condition is made. And what is going to be a base condition? That the second value is equal to 0. Okay, that is the base condition. And in that case, what we return? We return value first, right? And this value first, okay, which is returned when the value of the second variable becomes 0, okay, has to be also written for other calls, and therefore we simply have a return statement. We do not change the value which is returned in the very last call to the recgcd function. So in the last call, whatever value first has, that is written in every call to its previous function call. To understand this better, let's look at the example or a try run. So we start with try run. 12 and 16 are the numbers. We assume that the main function was called. The user enter values 12 and 16. Here the order will not matter. Why? We'll see that in the execution. Okay, and then the recgcd function is called with the values 12 and 16. Okay, so two parameters or two variables first and second are created. This is our first call to recgcd, okay, with the values of first as 12 and second as 16. Now the first thing which is done in this function is to check the if condition. Now if condition value says whether the value of second is equal to 0. The answer is not true, and therefore control goes to return statement rather to the recgcd function call. And here what is passed is first the value of second, which is going to be 16, and second argument is going to be 12. Right. Now let's look at one very important point here. The first call to this function, the arguments were 12 and 16, and I said to you that we should not bother about the order, okay, which is larger, which is smaller. It doesn't matter. We do not have to compare. In our LCM function, non-recursive LCM function program, we had done the checking, we had done the comparison, and the larger value was fast first and the smaller value was fast second, right? But in this particular recursive approach, we did not do so. Okay, we just simply pass the value. And why so? In this case, if you see, we had the smaller value passed as the first argument and the larger value passed as second argument. However, in the next call, the values got interchanged. The first argument will be 16, which is the largest among two values, and the second argument will be 12, okay, which is the smallest among the two values, right? And that is why we need not do the checking, okay, or comparison. We simply pass the values and the function will take care of rearranging the values. And the second call is done to the recgcd function. So we now in the second call of the recgcd function, again the parameters first and second are created and the values assigned will be 16 and 12, right? If condition is checked, the condition is not true, so the control goes back to the recgcd function call, right? And here the values will be passed will be second 12 and 16 percentile 12, which is going to be 4, right? These are our arguments to the next call, at the third call of the reggcd function, right? So we are in the third call. Again, the parameters are created. We'll have values 12 and 4. Okay, if condition is checked, condition is not true, control goes to the reggcd function call. Second, we'll have value 4. First percentile second will have value as 0, right? And then the call will be made. So we are in the fourth call to reggcd function. Here the values for the parameters will be 4 and 0, right? Now the if condition is checked, the value of second is 0, and therefore this condition is true, right? And therefore the control goes to the return first statement, okay, that is executed, and it will return the value 4. This value will return back to this function's previous call, okay, which is call number 3. So we transfer control back to the call number 3. Now the value 4 was written, and this value is going to replace our reggcd function here, okay. So this is where the call was made, right? And this value will be written to this function's previous call, which was call number 2, okay. So this is value return 4 and goes to function call 2, right? And the value which is written will replace this function here again, right? And the value will be 4. This again is written to its previous function call, which is call number 1. So we go back to call number 1, and again this function will be replaced. This is where the call was made. So this function will replace the value 4, and this will return back to the function which made the first call. And the first call was made by the main function. So we go back to the main function. So we are back in the main function, and this is where the call was made to the reggcd first time. So this is where the replacement will be made. Value 4 will be replaced here, and the print statement will be executed. Get ch statement will be executed, return 0 will be executed, and main function will end.
Friends, if you found this video useful, then please like it. Do subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button. Also share this video and playlist with your friends. Thank you for watching.